Hello and welcome. My name is Simon Poles and I will be presenting on Chapter 3 of Wendy Laura Belcher's Writing Your Journal article in 12 Weeks. The focus of this presentation will be on advancing your argument. In previous weeks, we've explored how to design an effective writing plan, what makes a successful writer. We have looked at a variety of articles and what it takes to be published. This presentation will explore the common reasons why articles are rejected, how the lack of arguments inhibits your article, and how to organize your work around the argument. Journal articles may be rejected for a myriad of reasons, and it is important to mitigate these circumstances prior to making your submission. Aspiring journal authors should consider the breadth of their articles, the originality and presentation of their work, the tone, the structure, and the significance of their work. Articles may not be considered for publication if they are seen as being either too narrow or too broad in their design. Articles that are too narrow may not consider what is important about the research, may not hold the reader's attention. Articles that are too broad in nature may be considered too technical. To avoid having your article rejected as a result of its narrow focus, consider setting your article in the broader context. You might choose to discuss the historical background of your argument or share how your article related to other debates. Aim for a broader audience by considering that many journal readers are not as well informed as the author of the article, ensuring that you analyze your data appropriately. To avoid being considered too broad, provide a small amount of background information, as readers and editors can readily access alternative sources of information on the internet or in other journals. Provide specific examples which are directly related and supportive of your argument, and select an appropriate journal to submit your article to. Articles fraught with mistakes and references, dated citations, errors in documentation, or simple language may be deemed unscholarly and may not be considered for publication. To avoid having your article rejected on this basis, considering citing articles that are no more than 3 to 5 years old, cite numerous articles in your field of study, and use relevant literary sources and cite those that are prominent in your field. Consider the great debates. Belcher notes that the mark that distinguishes most classroom papers from journal articles is defensiveness. Her claim is that too often students rely on emphasizing their materials and spend little time analyzing their results. While developing the skills to appropriately analyze your work may take some time, measured by time writing, she suggests that there are solutions to redeeming the quality of your work. In particular, Belcher suggests reducing the length and number of quotes in your article, ensuring that the quotes you choose are appropriate and accentuate your article, choose heavy hitters in the field, choose relevant studies, and avoid summarizing the work of others. An article should not be a summary of the work, rather it should provide insight and critique and advance the field. Articles which lack originality, fail to advance the chosen field, or do not represent an emerging topic may not be chosen for publication. It is suggested that articles should articulate original ideas either through their methodology, theory, analysis, or evidence. Finally, authors should claim their ideas as their own, using phrases such as, "I argue that," or "it's my contention." This negates the passive voice. The structure of your article is also important when considering publication. Articles which lack the clear beginning, middle, and end, and do not progress seamlessly may be difficult to follow. While a book can achieve its goals in chapters, a journal article must achieve its goal in a fraction of the space. As a result, it's important that the author be as concise as possible in their work, delete the irrelevant, focus on a single idea, and as Belcher notes, relinquish your findings. Do not withhold information. Journal articles may also be scrutinized for not being significant or important for their methodology or results. As a result, it's important for authors to consider reviewing their work carefully prior to submission, paying close attention to their argument structure and presentation. While there are a myriad of reasons for why articles may be rejected, one of the most common explanations is a lack of argument. The argument provides the basis for your journal article and should be stated early in your paper and should be clear to your reader. From this point forward, your evidence should flow around the statement. A good argument should be designed to elicit conversation and engage the reader with the intent of persuading your audience to consider your point of view. In addition, a good argument is supported by a series of claims or evidence that articulate your assumptions, By carefully crafting and supporting your statement in a concise and meaningful way, you can engage your audience in meaningful discourse. An important consideration when designing your article and the associated arguments is to consider alternative points of view. It's important to demonstrate that you've considered these, as it may lend credence and credibility to your argument. Journal articles may either be data-driven or argument-driven. Data-driven articles focus primarily on the summation of data. Articles which are written in this format rarely provide in-depth analysis, critique, or assessment. To this end, it must be noted that journal articles are intended to provide an analysis of data and advance work in the identified field. In contrast, argument-driven articles use data and evidence to advance their argument. Data and evidence are assessed, arranged in a manner to support the argument, and reflected upon in the conclusion. As such, journal articles should be written to reflect a coherent argument and not be based upon the presentation of data. For this week, you are encouraged to print off a copy of your article and review it to ensure that your article is argument-driven and supported by evidence. Do this by reviewing your introduction, the body, and the conclusion of your work, and ensure they align properly to support your overall contention. Remember that your article should not reiterate the work of others, rather it should provide new insight to your field of study. Once you have completed this task, consider how you will revise your work. Consider looking to the week ahead and planning a revision schedule. This will take some time, but the time invested will pay off in dividends